the universe has a way of throwing interesting obstacles at us when we're doing really well. The best way to add more good stuff into your life is the process of elimination. Welcome to the Strength Connection podcast, a show to share stories, insights, and experiences in strength, physically, mentally, and spiritually. I'm Michael Kurkowski, host of the Strength Connection, and I'm so grateful that you can join me today. So in these episodes, I connect with some of the most inspiring and successful individuals to chop it up and learn from true life experiences that have helped them become who they are, the strongest versions of themselves. One of the greatest ways I've always learned the most important lessons is through stories. We all have them, and they make us who we are. So let's dive in. Here we go. What's up, guys? Welcome to the Strength Connection podcast. I'm your host, Michael Kurkowski. Thank you so much for joining me. It's me and you today. This is a solo episode. It's me and you. Happy summer. Happy August. Hopefully summer is going well for you. It's been absolutely beautiful here. Been getting outside, training quite a bit down at the lake that's near my house, which has been the most beautiful mornings in the world. But I'm also my favorite season, especially in the Northeast, is fall. So I love these next months coming up, September, October. It's absolutely beautiful. So wherever you are, hopefully you are enjoying some time outside, and let's get rolling. So I think I'm going to be relatively brief. I know I say I'm going to be brief every time on these solo episodes and then end up going for like 20 minutes. But I do have one specific thing that I really wanted to chat about, which has been something of a topic of discussion for the last couple of weeks with me and some friends and some mastermind groups. But before so, I want to recap the episode I did earlier this week, as well as some episodes that will be coming up for you in August. So I got a chance to release the episode I did with Anthony Flores this week. So Anthony is one of the most genuine people. I was absolutely really looking forward to connecting with him. I've known Anthony for a while. We're in a mastermind group together. So I've known of his story. I know the person that he is. I know how genuine he is. But this was the first time that I got a chance to connect with him one-on-one and to hear his story about his journey of what he's gone through. And to say this was a raw and emotional conversation is, doing a disservice to it. It's even more than that. Let me give a little bit of context behind this. So, Anthony, one of the things he's coined is the easy day life. And living the easy day life. And that's really a mindset that he's developed and he works with himself, as well as his clientele in mindset and performance coaching. But a little background on Anthony is this was, a man who was at one point over 350 pounds, and from an epiphany moment and just self-discipline and building just a new life for himself, lost over 150 plus pounds. And we told all about the journey of what he was feeling like at that time, how he started making these changes, working on a day at a time, not knowing what to do, but just knowing that he was going to do something every day for himself, leading him all the way into who he is today. But along that road, because, the universe has a way of throwing interesting obstacles at us when we're doing really well for ourselves, is he woke up one day and started to get real bad pain in his testicle. And like most, men, he just shrugged it off and said, it will fade, or, it will go away. I'll just push through it. And it kept getting worse till finally he went to a doctor, and doctor brought him into the office and sat him down, looked him dead in the eye, and point blankly said, "You have testicular cancer." And Anthony's whole world, as you would assume, just kind of crashed down. And the first question he said, very earnestly and very honestly, not knowing the answer, was, "Am I going to die?" And to have to ask that question, not knowing what the answer is going to be on there, that's not something you don't wish on anybody. And I'm sure, you listening, you've either personally gone through this yourself, or somebody that's gone through it. It's something that you don't wish you have to go through. But from that, and the resilience and the strength and the mentality that Anthony built from this time into who he is today, is just absolutely epic. And it was so great to have him share this story on the podcast. But there was one big takeaway I wanted to share with you here, and that is just the power of sharing your own personal story. Getting comfortable sharing it with yourself, either through self-reflection or journaling. But what I learned from Anthony is that for a long time, he was very shy, very quiet about sharing his personal journey about this. Probably in numerous reasons. One is it brings up a lot of dark moments that you often don't want to relive and have to go through. But what he realized is, how his story resonates and is so similar to so many other people out there, not just putting it out into the internet and jumping on a podcast and going on, but just sharing it with his family and his friends and his local community. And since he started beginning to share his story more, things have changed for his life in almost every way. Like his business wise, more people have been connected with him than ever. They come up to him and say, I've gone through this, or I know somebody who's going through this. Thank you so much for sharing your story of resilience and the dark moments that you went through. And in that too, his confidence rose epically from being able to feel more comfortable sharing his story and being more open and being more vulnerable about it.
We'll get right back to this episode, but first I want to tell you about Nebosu Technology. Nebosu is the leading company in foot care products created by the top functional podiatrist and human movement specialist, Dr. Emily Splickle and her team. Our feet are a connection to the earth and the foundation of all human movement, and it's often the most overlooked part of our body when it comes to health, fitness, and recovery. Personally, I never thought much of how the foot impacts my movement and strength until years ago when I found my intense sciatic pain I was dealing with was coming from a locked up midfoot and ankle issue. So after putting emphasis on this, my pain subsided completely. And since then, I've made sure to take care of my feet before anything else in training. I use the Nebosu NeuroBall every day, whether I'm training or not, and I felt significantly better in both my barefoot strength training as well as running outside on grass and on pavement. Nebosu has the best products on the market, including the NeuroBall, recovery socks, splays, activation insoles, and the kinesis boards and mats. So to check out Nebosu Technology, click on the link in the comments or go to nebosutechnology.com and use the code CONNECTION and get an additional 10% off your purchase. Again, that's the code CONNECTION. Use it to get 10% off. All right, now let's get back to it.
And I think that's where, one of the questions I always ask people when we talk about vulnerability is, what does that mean to you? Like, what is the definition of being vulnerable? Because I think it's one of those words that can get misconstrued of you need to be a bleeding heart and just open up and throw all your emotions out. When it's really just talking about real life, about these were the things that I was going through. These are the things that I was questioning, I was pondering. These were the good days. These were the bad days. But this is what I've learned from it. And I'm still figuring it out every single day. And as a coach, I think Anthony gets it so much. And it's because it's easy, especially as a coach, and you're trying to almost put on a brand or a persona of saying, all my problems happened years and years ago. And then I found this gym, or I found this program, or I found this, diet, or whatever it is. And now everything is gone and I'm perfect now. It's like, no, he's still dealing with a lot of, mental battles from that time before. But the more he shares his story, the feels that he gets more strong from it. And I think that's something that as a coach, as just a person, whatever you're going through, that's something that we can resonate with. So if anything I took from Anthony is just sharing your story more about the things that you've overcome, but also the battles that you're still facing and that you're working on. And if you do that, as Anthony would say, is every day is an easy day life when you're planning and you're working on it. So again, shout out to Anthony. If you listen to this, I really appreciate you taking the time. It was absolutely awesome and looking forward to doing it again. All right. So moving forward, I want to talk to you about one of the things that I've, I guess, coined in my coaching world is the highway of strength analogy. And this is really how I've bridged the gap between following a very rigid, structured plan and more of an intuitive training plan. So if you use the analogy of the highway, there's a right lane, a middle lane, and a left lane. Okay. So if you're driving in the right lane, that's the slow lane. It's the carpool lane. It's where you're putting on cruise control. Okay. It's kind of like a much more of a joyride type spot. Then there's all the way on the left lane where that's the passing lane. You're going faster. It's pedal to the metal. You're going at a faster speed. You're a lot more probably focused in that lane because you're passing others. So you're getting to things a lot quicker. And then the middle lane is somewhere in the middle. And through all my journeys of doing intuitive training over the past couple of years, this was a analogy to use of different volume, different intensity for different workouts. It allowed me to train on an everyday basis and still make strength gains over and over again. And that was something that I've thought of and really worked with in all aspects of life. It could be in business time, it could be mindset, it could be family, just overall in your life. Where are you on the highway? And when you know where you're at, then you know where your capability is. And you also know where the obstacles and the hurdles are coming up so you can plan accordingly. And then wherever you are on the highway, whatever lane that you're taking, you're still moving forward. Okay. So let me bring it into some conversations that I've had over the past few weeks that brought this up a little bit more. The more I get into coaching, the more I just practice and learn strength, the more I learn from others. I realize the best way to add more good stuff into your life is the process of elimination and subtraction. The more you can eliminate the things that make you struggle and prevent you from getting success, the more it's going to free up energy and time to do the things that you really need to do that are going to give you the most success. And some of the conversations that I've had with some prospects, people are interested in coming in and coaching, or just general conversations have been, I'm one of those people that I'm all or nothing. You know, if it's not a fuck yes, it's a no. Like when I commit to something, I'm all in. And it's like, okay, like I know where that mentality is coming from in some way, but I realized that every person that was telling me this was doing nothing at the time for their strength and their fitness goals, the things that they wanted to achieve. So they're not doing anything towards the things that they say that they want. So I guess they're in the nothing phase of that all or nothing right there. And it just really made me ponder a lot on this mentality of if it's not a fuck yes, it's a no. And I call bullshit on that. And this was a group conversation I had with some other people about this, because that's not a plan. That's a motivational speech. What that is I feel it's attaching this emotion to everything that you need to do, that you need to have this, all success comes from this deep emotion attached to it. And that you need to wake up every day and be fired up like a linebacker getting ready to blitz the quarterback at any moment. And it needs to be this heightened sense of this energy. And that's why I see so many people enter into 6-week programs and 8-week programs or 12-week programs. And at the beginning, they're so energized and they're so fired up. They think that, oh, like this is, now I'm fired up. Now I'm focused. Now I'm committed. But we all know that that energy fades on some days. Like that motivation fades. Life pops up. Life happens. So what happens if you have a day that you can't get fired up? Then it's back to the all or nothing mindset. You're not on all. You're going back to nothing. And so in the conversations I've had with the most successful individuals on strength, the people that most of us would kill for the accolades and the lives that they've built up and developed, there's numerous different approaches that they've gotten to, but there's few similarities that all of them have. And I broke them down into 3. Number 1 is emotional regulation. Number 2 is they trust their own word. And number 3 is they know their non-negotiables on an everyday basis. Okay, so they don't get too hyped or too low on any given day. They believe that when they say they're going to do something, they do it. And then on their toughest days, when everything goes off the rails, they know their minimum requirements of what they still need to do, the non-negotiables. And that last one, this has been a big influence on me in my coaching and developing and creating the Highway of Strength program that I've worked with. So regardless of today or the days to come, things happen the way that they happen. You know, life comes at its own timetable in there. You can't force things to just pop up. It might go perfectly today, or things might go absolutely haywire all day. But regardless of it, when you know what those non-negotiables are, even if things go completely off the rocker, that's when you win every single day. Okay. So it doesn't matter the speed of what you're going, you're always moving forward. And it's being consistently good rather than occasionally great. And as coaches, I know with working with people is it's exciting when people hit the PRs and they do these great things. But when teaching things consistency, when teaching how to be consistently good and you can continuously win every single day, we know that that is what sustains long-term strength. It sustains long-term success. And it gets us out of this yo-yo success rat race of good and then bad and then success and then failure. And so many times after just numerous failures and somebody gets back on the horse and they feel motivated for a moment, in the back of their mind, they believe Can I really do this? I keep failing over and over again. And that's when you hear those conversations of, like, if somebody's doing really great for a couple weeks and somebody says, hey, really, great job. Yeah, but I've got a long way to go. It's that, yeah, but, where on the surface we think, oh, they're saying that, they don't want to get too hyped on themselves because they know they have a lot more to go. But in reality, subconsciously, that could be a thought of saying, yeah, but I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop because I know that I've been unsuccessful for so long before, and I don't fully believe that I can do this. So in this all or nothing mentality, if you do that, I urge you to look at this in a different way. Look at something more like the highway of strength, of saying, okay, like, if everything goes to shit, what can I still do today? What's my non-negotiables that I can get done? Maybe it's just doing one or two things. But then you go in and you reflect on that and you celebrate that. Then it goes into the number 2 thing that I talked about here, is when you say you're going to do something, you do it, and you build that self-trust up. So it's a win-win situation on that. And from doing that goes right to the top one. You learn how to be a lot more emotionally regulated. And it's not this, it's either a fuck yes or a no. I think it is. I think it's a bullshit statement. It's a bullshit mentality. It's a good thing for the moment, but it's not a plan. Right? So yeah, this just got me really fired up over the past week of hearing some of these conversations, and a couple of them we're working on to hopefully get their minds working in a little bit different way. But I wanted to bring this out to you. So if you're a coach and you're working with people on this, I urge you to look at something like the Highway of Strength program. But if you're somebody that's aspiring to get to your own goals as well, and you've been in that all or nothing mentality before, this might be a different way to look at things, and hopefully it helps you. Right. All right. So I'll leave it at that. Thank you. I do believe I did keep this one relatively brief here, but anyway, hopefully you enjoy the rest of your weekend, the rest of your day. Again, thank you so much for listening. Really appreciate all the support from you guys coming in and tuning in every single week. And if I can do anything more for you, please let me know. All right. Much love, guys. Peace. Talk to you soon.
Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you found some great value here. And if you like this episode, please drop a comment and leave us a 5-star rating and review. It does more to build the show than you can imagine. And do not forget to check out and join the Strength Connection Facebook group. In this group, I share the biggest takeaways and lessons from these amazing conversations, as well as training and strength tips for pursuing mastery and fulfillment in life. This group is filled with individuals looking to take full control over their strength, and it's the perfect space to explore new ideas and to share your journey. And you'll also get exclusive access to these Strength Connection Mastery Seminars. It's a deep dive into the physical, mental, and spiritual training that you can begin using immediately. So do not wait, go now. Seriously, go. All right, much love to you. Thank you so much, and I'll catch you on the next one.